I always forget to, do things like get myself water, but I have two. I have two today. So I also, oh, hi, I'm Brian. It's Friday. I also went to the gym today, and apparently that Stanley pink cup thing meme is. Uh, I found one. I don't understand the whole idea about it. My daughter tried to explain to me there was a story about a woman whose car exploded and she caught it on camera, and the water bottle was undamaged, and to the fact that there was still ice in it, and the water bottle company said, "Hey, it's such good advertising because your car exploded, but the water bottle inside was fine, and we're going to give you a new car." So I guess that's where these synthesis of that came from. But yeah, really weird memes coming out of that. So hello everybody, it's Friday, and normally I would be doing something like a Rust or what have you. I found out a couple things. One, I can't get VMware to install within a reasonable amount of time, and I also don't have the VM that I wanted to run that on because I've rebuilt my computer and So the ongoing saga of waiting for my computer to crap the bed is in day 5, 10. So, yeah, and nope, not gonna jinx it. Not gonna say anything. I'm here with you, so that's 100% double plus good right now. So, what I thought about doing was, I've got a couple of guests coming up to talk about things like yara rules and detections, and Miss Berlin has talked about them at some length, but I've never actually made a yara rule. So if you'll permit me and you want to watch the god awfulness that is, hey, wading through logs. I I've never made a yara rule before because I didn't come from that background, and actually my technical experience probably predates yara logs. So we'll see what's up. So I also tried to use Hyper-V. I've installed Hyper-V, but because I tried to use VMware, but it didn't work so well. It's running right now and it's using 0%, but I can't connect directly to it for whatever reason. I don't know if this is new. I used to be able to have a VMware like UI that isn't RDP or XRDP. So I'll have to figure out what's up with that. So no yara rules. Why not wading through logs? What's not fun about yara rules? We all love us some of them yara rules, I tell you. Unless you're one of them Sigma people, Ugh. One thing I didn't know was, ew, Sigma. I don't have a I don't have a preference there. They all do the same thing, right? Sigma Corporation. Wait a minute. Sigma's the villain in the Mega Man movie series, right? Lady P's here. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry I'm late, Lady P. Yeah, I thought you weren't going to be here. You had to see a man about some packing sand or something. Is it really going to be bad this weekend? Let me go see. I'm in San Diego, so wherever you are in NorCal. Oh noes! Look at that. We've got 1.27 millimeters of rain coming. No. I better go pack some sandbags too, I guess. Yeah. Let's go look up in, let me see, what's north? Fresno. Yes. Well, it's a little more rain. Y'all gonna get some rain next week. That's nice. Okay. Yes. I like that. I'm gonna start using that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, well, Lady P, don't let me stop you. I want to make sure that you are somewhat waterproof in your home or place. So Knock it out. Sigma detections. Ground is still saturated. Even a millimeter will cause flooding at this point. Oh. Hey, Beta Wolf. Lady P is in a place in California that I will not disclose openly. That is having still saturated ground. Actually, the rain that we got here in San Diego last week, my backyard is still soggy, and I worry about our pool guy getting started on time. So, interesting little problem, because if it's not dry, he's going to have a big bunch of heavy machinery back there tearing the hell out of my backyard, which he already has done, but he kind of needs it dry to be able to do things like do the pool. So it may be. I can guess pretty quickly based on what's been going on in the last year and all the flooding. Well, she's I Ventura County, yeah. Maybe Beta Wolf, SFO. Are they getting rain in NorCal? Is that what's going on? Well, there's a fair bit of rain coming. Ooh, okay, about a half an inch there for. So for those U.S. Americans, 25.6 millimeters would be 1 inch of rain. 2.5 or 25.4 millimeters of rain is an inch of rain, roughly. So 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch as well. So, now there, Beta Wolf. It hasn't been completely effed. There's, we got a team going to the playoffs in football, so got that going for you. All right, so Sigma is a detection format for generic detection rules, threat hunting rules. See, that's where I think is kind of cool, the threat hunting rules. I find it interesting because teams that you either have a dedicated team of detection folks, or you are doing it 4 inches. Woo! Yeah. So that's rough. Yeah. Let's see what the calendar says. Extended forecast on weather underground. Yeah. Oh, yes. SFO is going to be drenched. So just a little bit of rain every day, but they don't handle it too well. So, it's interesting. Okay. Sigma is for logs, what Yara is for network traffic. Oh, okay. Wading through logs. Yeah. So, the whole idea is creating rules for detections to either be proactive, or to make, rules that will, block existing issues. So it's either a proactive approach, or it's oh shit, things are happening right now, we need to isolate and contain, or what have you. Oh, see, there you go. They're vendor agnostic. Yeah. Yara, I think I didn't realize VirusTotal kind of handled those. So take it what you will. Oh, and right here, see, Sigma is for log files, what Snort and Yara is for. Oh, Yara is for files, and Snort is for network traffic. So there you go. That's interesting. That's interesting. So how do you set these up? Let me see. Projects or products that use or integrate Sigma rules. Lima Charlie. Oh yeah, Miss Berlin's mentioned Lima Charlie a couple times. Open source project, generic query language for security and DNR rules, detection and response rules. Looks up known anomalies and CVEs. Many people use Sigma as the community tends to respond quickly, but also puts interesting anomalies often in there. Can we set this up cloud-wise? Yes. Do Yara, it's do Yara, it's easier. Yeah, that's for sure. Now maybe at some point we can have wading through logs come on to help us set up a Yara environment. So. Well, what got me was the 100 days of Yara challenge that I think I found the other day. looking up, different things here on planning and overview, and there's a whole bunch of docs here to go through. Reading the official documents. There's a lot of documentation on those performance guidelines because each one of these. Have you read the Thomas's CTI book? Oh, hell yeah. I go to sleep on that shit every night. It's so exciting, the Thomas CTI book. It's great. I love me some of that, I tell you. No, not that guy. Different guy. So CTI book. Something along this line here. Visual threat intelligence, an illustrated guide for threat researchers. No, that's the author of that last article. Yeah. Also has the CTI field manual, which was written by somebody else. Oh, well, there you go. Practical threat detection. Oh, yeah. We've had this author on. We've had Megan on the show talking about this one. This is a good book, by the way. I have the book somewhere in e-format. So. There we go. You can go and pick that up. It's not a referral link or what have you, but there we go. Highlights include threat intelligence fundamentals, threat actors and operating methods. How many? So I don't deal with this. I have some detection engineering folks that I work with on a regular basis. That book is really good artwork. I'm hoping that it's got really nice, tables is what you mean by the artwork, and not like, got some funky anime or something in there. There we go. Go and grab that book as well. It's got high marks. I mean, 4.4. It's got 53 ratings. Let's see. You want to know real cyber threat intel practices? You won't regret reading this. Okay. Thomas is known for making good diagrams. That's an important thing, Sometimes you save yourself a couple of 4 or 5 pages if you've just got a nice graphic. So, wow, yeah, pretty popular. There you go. Okay. Close that. So there's no shortage of books there for. Did I screw something up? Oh no, there it is. Yeah, I wanted to. So Florian Roth, the was Yara Forge was what I was looking for here. So. Hey, wading through logs. What's the agenda for next week's meeting on the 11th? I just want to make sure, do I have to bring a, green bean casserole or anything like that? There we go. Anything I need to bring to prep for said event? Okay, just overall planning. That's good. Sorry, I'm going to log in here. There we go. Okay, yes, I'm signed in as Bray. All right. So what's interesting about the Yara form? So this guy has made over 17,000 Yara rules. I kind of believe him when he says that. He's been doing it for quite some time. He's also created other Yara rule generators like YaraGen, Panopticon, Yara QA, which is nice because as you mature in your process for making things, you want to have checks and balances to go, okay, yeah, this is hot garbage, or this isn't, this sucks, or, what have you. So, close that. All right, so Yara install. All right, so yeah, I wanted to do that. So let me go down here to my Fridays thing. So this is actually The one thing I haven't figured out yet is why the terminal window won't show on OBS, and when it does this hot garbage here. So that was the other issue I was having with this whole setup and rigmarole and what have you. This is Windows Terminal, or the one you can download and buy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It just doesn't work, and I can close it and reopen it, and it just continues to throw a bunch of shite on the screen. So yeah, haven't figured out why it's doing that. Some things work better than others in OBS in 2024. So but yeah, it would be, yeah, it doesn't even show the output when I type anything on the screen. So it's almost like things crash or what have you. Start Windows Terminal, start OBS, add a... Yes, Beta Wolf, I have done that. I did do that. Yes. Cursor capture? Oh, maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's the Windows 10 version of that. Let me try that. Yeah. Yes. Let me give that a shot. Ah ha ha. There we go. Okay. So I had to change it to the Windows 10 version. Ah ha ha. I'll make the font bigger so I can shrink the size of the terminal. So there we go. Okay. Looking forward to watching my Chargers do nothing for draft picks this weekend, so that's nice. Yeah, I just called it Ultimo. I don't know. I could have called it Lord of the Rings characters or what have you, but yeah. All right, so we need to download Yara 4.40, which virus total releases are here. So let's see. Is it available yet? There we go. Ah, there it is. Zip file. All right. Download lay zip. All right. So I'm going to open up another window so that I can move some things around. Okay, make sure I didn't have the right one here. So C mint C users Brian downloads. Yeah, okay, good. All right, Windows E, there we go. All right, I'm unzipping the file using the good old tried and true method of extract all, and I will put it on my desktop because here we go. So what's everyone gonna do this weekend? I know Miss P is gonna be filling sandbags, sadly. There we go. Select folder. There we go. Extract. Okay, so there's an application. Honestly, my favorite thing of this stream is watching Bird. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like that, Beta Wolf. I'm not exactly sure what you're working on with regards to that. It makes me wonder about See, the thing is, it's all in Linux here. So yeah. Yes. All right. Give me the freaking Ubuntu version. I'll just go and pollute my current Linux environment with that hot mess. Okay. I promised myself I'm not going to get upset, so, or go too fast. So. Okay, no, that's not it. downloaded some Elden Ring OST stuff here this last couple days. I don't have Dippy yet. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Now. Okay. I'm going to close that because it's confusing me. All right. So the commands are thus. And this might not even work because it's in WSL. It's in my Linux version that's sitting on my computer. So tar. Really? There we go. Okay. And then we're just supposed to go bootstrap sh. Oh, this is gonna hurt a lot. Got my Bamboo Labs X1C, so I'll probably be playing around with that. Oh, that's nice. Make sure you have automake, libtool make, and GCC and package config installed in your system. Okay, so that didn't work, so now I'll just go over here. It's like Kali Linux, except I only have 300 megs worth of packages instead of terabytes. I don't need CUDA so much. Well, yeah, we'll see if I need CUDA. We'll see. If you plan to modify Yara's source code, you may need Flex and Bison for lexers and parsers. Let's go ahead and grab that just in case. Okay. It's probably because I don't have... Well, let's hope that libvn... you know what? Let's make sure sudo apt update. And then dist upgrade. All right, good. So we're at least solid there. So, all right. Yay! I think that worked. Okay, installing, yeah, here, installing, yeah. Okay. Okay, compile and install Yara in the standard way. Okay, so dot configure. And we're coalescing and compiling. Could not find alternative APIs for hash functions. The hash module has been disabled. Interesting. Anything else it didn't find? Could not find an OpenSSL library. Okay. Sudo apt install OpenSSL. I've got OpenSSL. I probably have to point shit to it. That makes me feel good. There we go. You know what? I need some background music because I'm just gonna kill somebody otherwise. There we go. Yeah, get some chill out music on. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just going to be watching football all weekend. Looking forward to the playoffs. I just need the link, yo. Come on. Where's my little raccoon guy? So many. Hey, Monk Duck, how are you? Thank you for coming and hanging out here. Wow, all right. I heard that. Oh, that's just, yeah. Okay. Use pot player so I don't have to keep an eye out on stuff. There it is. Pot player, open, Earl, and okay. There we go. Very nice. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program, already in progress. Well, we'll continue to make and see if make works. Otherwise, oh. There we go. So the Yara rules are Yaroing. You know, the system is Yaroing really good. There we go. Was watching on YouTube. I thought I'd sign up. Okay, not seen the live stream. Hey, welcome, Monk Duck. Thank you. Oh, of course it errors. Let's see. What is the error message? Cannot create regular file. User local lib yara permission denied. Let me give that another shot here. Let me clean all that shite up, and then we'll give it another try. Yeah, if you were online and making comments in the chat section, maybe I didn't see it. So sorry, Monk Duck. Okay, there we go. One of the hazards is simulcasting. Nope, still got the same error message. Great. Let me see. And I can turn the volume down a little bit so I'm not blasting myself out here. This is why we can't have nice things. A lot of nice errors here. That's nice. Got overflow issues. Lib local cannot create regular file. Okay, so it exists. At least the directory does anyway. If you're here because you think I know what I'm doing, no. First time I've ever installed Yara, by the way. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Okay, now we'll just run make. See how far we get that way. Because I noticed the sudo for the install, sudo make install. Okay, so make worked. So sudo make install. Oh, see, it works when you follow the directions. Okay, and then make check, and without the sudo. Kind of a QA process here. Hey, Monk Duck, what's your? How'd you find us? How did you, latch on to us here. By the way, before we go, bit of housekeeping here. Thanks to Hackstream ING, DJ Dowie, yeah, Gustavo Sala, thank you, Slomi, all the folks who joined us from MT Taggart's raid the other day. So very much appreciative. All right. So some of Yara's features depend on the OpenSSL library. Those features are enabled only if you have the OpenSSL library installed in your system. If nope, not bad. Okay, squeak. And then so yeah, there we go. Came from the podcast years back doing my SysP, guessing. Whoa, okay, you're early podcast. Yeah, we've done a few things in the last few years there, Monk Duck. Technically, this would count as a CPE, as well as the podcast, which we will be recording a podcast on Sunday night. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet. I want to talk with Mr. Betcher, Miss Berlin. Usually when we get together, we have a handful of things that we talk about, mostly news, sadly. But, I'd love to find out from Mr. Betcher and Miss Berlin if they have a topic they'd like to discuss. I have a couple of things about leadership that I wanted to talk about as well. Kind of a mental health issue as well, where people think about work after hours, but just kind of ruminating on a couple of things like that. So some of Yara's feature, the configure script will automatically detect if OpenSSL is installed or not. If you want to force SSL dependent features, you must pass with crypto to the configure script. All right, thanks, Monk Duck. Appreciate that. Ubuntu and Debian users can use sudo apt-get libssl dev. Okay, sudo apt install. Yeah, difficult to tune out at night. Oh yeah. I find a lot of us do that, and I don't know if it's particular to any type of personality or what have you, but it's a Sunday night and you're like, oh great, what am I gonna have to deal with next week? You might go in and get on your work laptop, or you're like, I don't know, better than probably 80% of the people who watch this video, or in infosec, they've got their work shit on their phone. So you're never really away from work. So I guess I could have installed libssl dev. If you're on call, I understand. If you're a SOC analyst, or you're dealing with Yara, Sigma rules, or what have you, sure, makes sense. For people who are not on call, I don't want to say is there a reason for you to have that on there, but if you have your work shit on your phone, your boss knows you have your work shit on your phone, which means you're never really away from your boss either. So just something to think about. Okay, so I've installed that. Now I need to go into the configure script. So I just want to see what the configure script looks like. All right, so we have, there we go. Should probably turn on studio mode so I can change those at a whim. What the hell is that down there? Oh, I see. Okay. All right, so we need, oh, that's a big ass config script. I have gone through at least a half a, oh wow. Okay, so yeah, that's a long ass config script. Jesus. Makes you wonder what kind of vulnerability or issues are in the Yara configure script. All right, so it says if you want to enforce the OpenSSL dependent features, you must pass with crypto to the configure script. Okay, so we'll just go back up to .configure and do -- with crypto. Hail Mary, full of grace, something, something, something. All right, and then, okay, so it looks like crypto's in here now. We've got L crypto, yes, yes, yes. We have crypto H, OpenSSL has been found. That's better than what we had the last time, so that's cool. All right, then we'll run make. Okay, so there's some new stuff there. Lib yara, yara C. All right, and then make install. Yes. Okay, so there's some new stuff in there. All right. So, and then make check. We'll just make check for shits and giggles. Got a new rolly chair because I used to sit in my weight bench, but it's not meant for long-term sitting. It's meant to, pump out a set or 5 and then, move along. So I've been sitting in my rolly chair and rolling around a little bit. All right, pass fail. All right, good. We're good on that. So, according to the rules, according to the instructions, I have successfully installed Yara with encryption. So we will see. It says the following modules are not compiled into Yara by default. So Cuckoo, I'm assuming that's for sandbox analysis, like the Cuckoo sandbox. I don't know what Magic is, and I don't know what .NET are. But there's other modules that you can enable using those, the dash dash. The dash dash module name. So enable, so if you wanted to, enable something, you'd have to go back and do .configure and then dash dash enable, .NET. .NET. Oh, okay, .NET, that makes sense. So like Microsoft's .NET or what have you. C# potentially. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. So yeah, and then you enable Cuckoo, enable Magic. You can do it in a manner befitting of enabling multiple modules at the same time. So, and then they explain them down here. libmagic is a standard Unix program file. Debian, Android, Ubuntu, and CentOS use a package libmagicdev. Okay, so you'd also have to install the libraries for that as well. So, 1 second. All right, sorry. All right, so installing with VC package. Okay, I don't want to do that. I could have installed on Windows, so that's good to know. Installing on OS X with Homebrew. Whew, man, I don't know if Homebrew's gotten any better in the last few years, but I had a lot of issues with Brew back in the day. So running Yara for the first time. Now that you've installed Yara, you can write a very simple rule and use the command line tool to scan a file. So, all right. Okay, so we will. My first rule. Don't get confused by the repeated my first rule and the arguments to Yara. I'm just passing the same file as both the rules and the file to be scanned. Okay, so you can pass any file you want to be scanned with the second argument. Okay, if everything goes fine, you should get the following output. All right, so I'm going to shorthand this and just say Control-C. And I'm just going to do it inside the Yara directory so I don't pollute the rest of my environment. So, all right, now we have a file called, where is it? My first rule, there it is, right there. Okay, so we go Yara. Oh. That's not what should happen. Interesting. If you plan to use Yara with Python scripts, you need to install Yara Python. Error while loading shared libraries. Yara so.10 cannot open shared object file. Okay, well. Let's go and grab Yara 10 cannot open shared object file. Yara and Yara Python. Okay, well that's not the error I'm going to get here. Could mean that the loader is not finding the libyara library, which is located in user local lib. Okay. Let's see where it said. Yeah. Oh, was that lower underneath? Yeah. Okay. In some flavors, loader doesn't look for libraries in this path. We must instruct it by adding user local lib to the loader configuration etc ld so conf. Okay. Good stuff. What's interesting is they feels like that these are common issues that they've had to deal with from time to time. So, all right, and then sudo ld config. Okay. This is scary. I have a feeling these are going to come bite me in the ass at some point in the near future. On newer releases such as 2204, the correct loader configuration is installed via dependencies to libcconf. In this case, the following command alone is sufficient to configure the dynamic linker runtime bindings. If you're using PowerShell, you have to use this. Or if you use that, you may return this non-ASCII error to set content. Okay, so that's good. So let me try running that again just to see if it'll actually run this time. Oh, look at me. Whoa. Oh, wait. Whoa. All right. Good stuff. Okay. Writing Yara rules. Yara rules are easy to write and understand. I'm not sure that makes... Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. Believe it when I see it. So far, knock particle board, it's going pretty well. So, with the exception of some error messages, which if I'd have just read further down, would have given me the same problem. So apparently that is a typical thing that kicks a lot of people in the ass there when it starts out. Alrighty. So, here's the simplest rule you can write for Yara, which does absolutely nothing. Rule dummy, condition false. Each rule in Yara starts with the keyword rule followed by a rule identifier. So keyword rule, so rule and then the identifier, okay. Ugh. So for those of you who use Yara, how long are these identifiers? Are they like, do you keep them? Do you have a specific file name convention or a rule name convention? Or do you have, like, Java style, like, they keep getting longer and longer and longer? Do you use underscores or do you have spaces? Can it take spaces? Probably not. My guess is it would have some kind of issue there and would see it as another argument in running the rules. Okay, so we have Yara keywords. So there's keywords down here for this. There are all, and, any, ASCII, at, base 64, base 64 wide, condition. There's a lot of them. Some of these make sense, like int 32b, int 32 would be int 32 for integer 32-bit. Here's an unsigned integer 16-bit, unsigned integer 32-bit, 8-bit. The BEs mean something. I'll figure it out as we go along. Base 64 wide. Okay. We got for commands, we have ors, we have nots, we have XORs, so we have some logic stuff involved. So you're filtering basically if, X equals 1, or, if file name equals, oh my God, then do this. So there's a them, maybe you meant then, yeah, maybe. Okay, rule identifiers are case sensitive and cannot exceed 128 character. Well, there you go. Okay. Following keywords are reserved and cannot be used as an identifier. Okay, that makes sense. So you don't want to have something like that. Wow, it's almost like password instructions, right? Same lexical conventions of the C programming language cannot contain any alphanumeric character. They can contain any alphanumeric character in the underscore. Okay, so no spaces. Wow, it is like a password. No, first character cannot be a digit. Interesting. Rule identifiers are case sensitive and cannot exceed 128 characters. Following keywords are reserved and cannot be used as an identifier. Rules are generally composed in two sections, a string definition and a condition. The strings can be omitted if the rule doesn't rely on any string. Okay, so we have an example rule here. Let me see. I'm going to be filthy. I'm going to use... Oh, God. Now I'm trying to type. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. So we're going to look at this example rule. So there's strings and it runs when certain conditions are met. Okay. Hex strings are enclosed by curly brackets, so you have to have curly brackets to do that. I bet you if you write I wonder if VS Code has some kind of, let's see, VS Code, yara, rule, extension. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. If you use VS Code or any text editor, I'm sure there's an extension here that will let you know if you've actually done things correctly, proper formatting. You don't want to write a big. I'm assuming some of these get fairly lengthy, fairly long, and then you make a mistake. So having something like this would be important to have inside the system. Not saying this is the right one to use. It's just there are plugins or extensions that will allow you to, do hunts and do those things. So, there we go. Oh, here you go. There's some more GitHub tools for that. I think. I don't know how up to date it is. No, 7 years ago. 2 weeks. Okay, so somebody's at least touched it in the last 2 weeks, adding Yara Forge. So lab rules, OS X. There's 40 Yara rules for malware and OS X, depending on how up to date those are. ESET IOCs, Fidelis, FireEye. Okay, so comments, you can add comments. Okay, so use a /* for a multi-line comment. // for inline comment or single line comment, or just to make sure you don't screw something up. So hexadecimal strings. Follow 4 special constructs that make them more flexible. Wildcards, not operators, jumps, and alternatives. Wildcards are just placeholders. So use a question mark. I guess that would be if something changes, like they change the hex code somewhere in the file, and some of the values will stay static, but other ones won't. You'd want to be able to, this is that pyramid of pain that Miss Berlin talked about on a show a little while ago with, when we had Megan Roddy on, and talking about trying to get a better confidence of a rule. So as shown in the example, wildcards are nibble-wise, which means you can define just one nibble of the byte and leave the other unknown. Sorry, my trainer kicked my ass today, so. Starting with 4.30, which is fairly recent, I would imagine. You may specify a byte that is not value specific or specific value. You can use the not operator. So you have not examples, so you can exclude things. So you use a tilde? Oh, interesting, yeah. This example, we've byte prefixed with a tilde, which is a not operator. This defines the byte in that location can take any value except the one specified. In this case, anything not 00 for the hex value. That could be good. I guess if you're doing one-offs or something, if you know that it's not, DF, for instance, you could have it you know, pick that instead, or anything else but df, which is a nice, you know, filter process. Wildcards and not operators are useful when defining strings whose content can vary, but you know the length of the variable chunks. However, this is not always the case. In some circumstances, you may need to define strings with chunks instead of variable content length. Oh, by the way, here is a link that you can follow along if you like. I'm sure if you haven't found it already. Wildcards and not operator. Yeah, I already read all that. So in these situations, use jumps instead of wildcards. So this gives you a range, right? So anything from 4 to 6. In this example, pair of numbers enclosed in square brackets separated by a hyphen is a jump. This jump indicates that any arbitrary sequence from 4 to 6 bytes can occupy the position of the jump. 4 to 6 bytes. Okay. Yeah, any of the following strings will match the pattern. Right, so you've got 4F23, 4F23, and then go here, here, or here. Okay, so you just keep adding. It's not 4 to 6 digits. It's 4 to 6 groupings of hexadecimal values. Okay, that makes sense. Any jump meeting the condition. In previous versions of the Yara, both X and Y must be lower than 256, but starting with Yara 2.0, there was no limit. I don't know that. So for those of you who use these, it seems like the more of those values you'd put in, maybe the less performant that would be, because it would require, you know, if you put like a huge range there, you're pretty much writing a rule every time, saying, hey, look for, you know, these two values with 4 and then 5 and then 6. So you're going to have to scan the same files over and over and over again. Or I don't know, maybe it's a bit more performant than that, but it feels like that would be a very inefficient way of checking for values that would actually cause some issues. These are also valid jumps, 0 through 8. 23 to 45. Wow, that's a big 1,000 to 2,000. So that's 1,000 different potential options there, right? This is invalid, right? It breaks logic. You can't go from 10 down to 7. Higher and lower bounds need to be in the right order. So if the lower and higher bounds are equal, you can write a single number enclosed in brackets. Okay, so you know it's any 6 digits between, you know, 45 and 89. So we'll also not do 5 or 7 or any list thereof. The above string is equivalent to both of these, right? Okay, so it's a shorthand, right? So you don't have to have all of those in there like that. Starting with 2.0, you can use unbounded jumps. Oh wow, so 10 to infinity basically. Whew. Wow. Yeah, 0 to infinity. That doesn't feel very performant right there. That would be like a, I don't know, I don't want to say an any rule, but I mean it won't match on everything, but it'll have to still match against 20, you know, FE 39, 45, and 8900. But I mean, if you've got a big file and it has to look for that, yeah, I don't know. All right. There's also situations in which you want to provide different alternatives for a given fragment of your hex string. In those situations, you can use a syntax similar. Ooh, regular expressions. But we're just piling on the fun here. So F for 23, and then it's like either this or that, right? So it's looking for one or the other. Not, any file containing this or that, right? There are 2 alternatives that also can be expressed. In fact, no limits to the amount of alternative sequences you can provide. Oh, I could see the value in that. And I'm sure there's an XOR version of that, or an AND. As shown in previous sections, text strings are generally defined as this. Okay. Simplest case is ASCII encoded text sensitive. However, text strings can be accompanied by some useful modifiers. So So you can escape sequences, backslash, carriage returns, tabs, new lines, any byte in hexadecimal notation. Wonder if there's parsing issues. I know in Wireshark, you know, some of the parsers have vulnerabilities in them that cause buffer overflows or memory issues. I'm wondering if you couldn't also cause some kind of issue here with the parsers and the, you know, because it's Flex and Bison, which do have vulnerabilities from time to time. In all versions of Yara before 4.10, text strings are accepted by any kind of Unicode character regardless of encoding. Those characters can be interpreted as raw bytes. Therefore, the final string was actually determined by encoding format used by your text editor. This was never meant to be a feature, and the original intention was always Yara strings should be ASCII only, and Yara 4.10 started to raise warnings about non-ASCII characters in comments. That's cool. Some limitations does not apply to strings in the metadata section or comments. All right. Text insensitive, right? So foobar will match foobar if you put the no case in, right? If you don't, then it'll only look for foobar. So if somebody decides to put foo capital B, you know, capital B AR, it's not gonna find it. Don't know. Seems like that'd be something you'd want to put a lot or all the time, right? Instead of just letting it go like that. Or, you know, in case you did miss the other options of foobar here. This modifier can be used in conjunction with any modifier except base 64 stuff. That makes sense. Or XOR. Wide character strings. A wide modifier can be used to search for strings encoded with 2 bytes per character, something typical in many executable binaries. Borland appears encoded as 2 bytes per character. BORLAND 0. And the following rule will match. Borland wide. Wow. Okay. Keep in mind this modifier just leaves the ASCII codes of the characters. This is like watching paint dry, isn't it? Well, I'll have a story to tell Miss Berlin and Mr. Betcher this weekend. So you can use the ASCII modifier with the wide no matter how they appear. So Borland wide, ASCII. ASCII modifier can appear alone without accompanying wide modifiers, but it's not necessary to write it in the absence of wide. Okay, so you've got this program cannot XOR. The above rule is logically equivalent to this program cannot. Oh, bunch of gibberish here, bunch of gibberish there. Repeat for every single byte of XOR. Okay. Interesting. Also combine the XOR modifier with wide or ASCII modifiers. For example, to search for the wide and ASCII versions of every string. After every single XOR byte has been applied, you would use the following here. Okay, so XOR wide. Wow, that's a lot of... Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Base 64, right, so this will cause Yara to search for 3 permutations. So it converts the program strings. Hey, Freedom DAO. It will convert the strings to base 64 so that it can find them in the proper places. Why would it have 3 different permutations of base 64? That's a good question. I don't know that. Well, so yeah, Freedom DAO, you're watching somebody who's never made a Yara rule in their life and just set up the Yara environment on my computer here. So actually didn't have any issues. It was actually easier to set up than Rust was. So Interaction between base 64 wide and ASCII is as you would expect. ASCII and wide are applied to the string first, and then base 64 and base 64 wide are applied. At no point is the plain text of ASCII or wide versions included in the search. If you want to also include those, you can put them in a secondary string. Okay. Right, so custom alphabet, so this. Same for me, actually. I'm getting killed because I can't do scrapers good right now. I need something good like this. Don't know about that, but I don't know. Your definition of good for me right now on this is, you know, I'm literally learning this as I'm reading it. So, because of the way Yara strips the leading and trailing characters after base 64, one of the base 64 encodings of this program can now and this program cannot are identical. Okay, so it strips that and strips that. So the D and the W, all it says is his program can know. Using a base 64 keyboard on ASCII characters is not recommended. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have encoding issues or coding errors. That would be cause for a problem. Full word, so can be applied to text strings. This modifier guarantees the string will match only if it appears in the file delimited by non-alphanumeric characters. All right, let me go find some Yara rules. Find Yara rules. Easy peasy. We can go look at some instead of, you know, reading about it. So you must have Yara 3.0 or higher, which we do. Great. And anti-debug, anti-VM in this section. So there's all kinds of types of Yara rules. These are 2, 3, 5 years old. Okay, so these aren't up to date necessarily, or at all. Some of these are fairly old. Let's go see the E rules. Cool, we can go and go look at this one. Yara rule set. Let's go see if there's anything. Okay, here we go. So this one is for 2010. Let's go look and see what vulnerability this is first. Okay. Ew, I would pick a Flash player vulnerability, wouldn't I? Ew. Okay. Oh, an Adobe Air, an Adobe Reader, an Acrobat. So yeah, remote attackers execute arbitrary code or cause denial of service, memory corruption via a crafted SFW or Flash content related to auth play DLL and ActionScript virtual machine. Okay, so there we go. So you have a rule called new Flash function. It's a decoded PDF. I'm assuming you have to decode the PDF to make it happen. The meta tags are great because it gives you additional. I'm assuming you can put most anything in the meta tags. Yara meta tags. There we go. Oh, there we go. Metadata. Anything you can't put in there. Besides the string definition and conditions, rules also have a metadata where you can put additional information. Is defined. You can be seen. Let's see. I guess there isn't much you can't put in there. So yeah, it seems like you can put most anything in there, and it's pretty open. So that's good. So you can add, you know, you could add additional things like, you know, created by Brian, or created by somebody who used to work here, or we have a lot of issues with files and scanning them. Freedom down what way? When you say issues with files and scanning them, we were going to look at Sigma, but wading through logs said, you know, it's painful and don't do that. So, or he said not to do that because it would, you know, be a heavy lift for me. What type of files are you scanning? Yeah. But are they large files? Are they executable files? Are they PDFs? Or, you know, I'm assuming you're not meaning like DLLs and EXEs, but I'm gonna have to get out of here in a few minutes. I started late, and you know, we're gonna be needing dinner here in a little while. But it's good enough to get started. I can continue playing around with these. We need to automatically grab information from other AI, but the multiversal signal keeps getting mixed up, and I think maybe output of a lot of data. Oh. I don't want to suggest grep, but I guess that's you know, that's not good. Anyway, so here's the metadata. So this is referring to the CVE. I see. So you're passing data between large language models. Okay. Okay. I'm surprised you just don't have a... Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have some kind of API that you can... So you've got a middleware that you've got where you're passing data from Bard to ChatGPT and back, and you've got a middleware sitting here that is taking the data from one to the other, but it's a lot to parse. And I'm guessing you need something that speaks ChatGPT language and Bard language, and the middleware is normalizing that data in such a way, but there's a lot of data coming from both sides. So you have to figure out a way to parse that out and put it in the proper fields so that when you pass it from Bard to ChatGPT and back, it's somewhat seamless and not painful. Yeah. One of the jobs I used to work with in as a defense contractor was creating middleware for tactical data layers and tactical data links. So we created the just pure quantum wireless. I don't know what quantum wireless is, but I understand middleware, which is kind of what you're building. In being able to speak one language over another, it happens a lot, really. But yeah, I don't know how to do quantum wireless. You got me there. Oh. Yeah, pulling data randomly, that doesn't sound good. You need to control that data pool, I think, in some cases. Hey, Digital Warhead. I've got about another 10 or 15 minutes digital, so, but glad to see you. Hey, how'd the meetup go on Wednesday at CSEC East? So we're looking through yara rules right now, so. Part of the way the model is designed and something we don't know about. Maybe it's a quantum theory thing or a multiverse theory thing. Pretty close. We have 50% of the data every time. Well, 50% is better than 0%. So, you know, as long as you're continuing to improve, I guess it's okay. Unless the 50% you're missing is like, you know, the nuts and bolts, right? Ah. Yep. Oh. Yeah. I like to look at it half full, like you're 50% right half of the time, right? But if it's quantum, do you really know you're right until you actually observe the data? Sorry, that's a bad joke. So anyway, we're looking at these. We have strings in here, and we have a condition. So let me see if I can close that. There we go. Turn that down a little bit. I don't want to be yelling too badly. So condition, unescape, and shellcode, and CVE. Okay, so unescape, it's looking for the full word called unescape. So it somewhere in this vulnerability, it's looking for unescape. It's looking for full word, no case. So it's looking for any example of unescape. So capital U, capital N, capital E. Somebody writes it in leet speak or whatever bullshit like that. The shell code is some kind of regex, looking for 4 characters of alphanumeric, upper, lower, and number. Another part of the shell code is upper, lower number, 4 characters with 5 different iterations of those 4 characters. I have to remember my regex golf here. And then The code is also looking for subtype flash. So it's looking for these various strings inside of this version or inside of this PDF that will, is the source code that causes this issue. So this is a detection mechanism looking for, this what was it? It was memory corruption, or the ability to execute arbitrary code or cause denial of service. So memory corruption. So somebody crafted a specific, flash or specific thing and used strings that the system will look for. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, you can put anything in the metadata area, I think, as long as it's properly formatted, or you put double quotes around the characters or what have you. Man, I totally spaced on the meetup until about 30 minutes after it started. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Digital, it's fine. Yeah, I just wondered if, how everything's going. I'll ask on the Discord. So, it's not new, Freedom DAO. Yara has been around for a good while. I mean, there's vulnerabilities from 2010 that is in a Yara rule set. So either somebody had time to do that later, which it looks like they did it 3 years ago. So it's at least 3 years old. But yeah, Yara is not new. History. No. That is not. Oh yeah. So Yara was developed in 2013. So it's over 10 years now. So it started just a little bit before we started the podcast. So the abbreviation is Yara, another recursive acronym, or yet another ridiculous acronym. Oh my God. Yeah, that's not good. Yara comes with modules to process PE, ELF, as well as support for the Cuckoo sandbox. So that's the Cuckoo module that you could enable in the system there. Oh, okay. Well, go and check that out. Maybe it's something you can use to, parse out things. I mean, you could use regex. You could use you could use a grep. If you're just taking a file, you can, if you're getting a stream of data from one side and a stream of data from another side, that's, you could use a grep. I don't know. You could use some kind of filter. I don't know if you need to use Yara so much. If you wanted specific rule sets, or I don't know if you could use it as a QA kind of thing to make sure you've got things right or wrong. But I mean, you could do some regex patterns and stuff. I don't know. Check it out there, Freedom DAO. If it helps you, it's not my invention. So, go and support the people that make it. It's always options there. All right. So let's go look at. Maybe this is what we'll do some Yara rule sets and stuff on Sunday night here. Regex is useful, but then for scanning, right? I mean, so they even have Yara Forge and all those is available for, and I think the guy Florian actually had something that would do performance against Yara rules. So if you did do something nuts like set the range bits like 1 to infinity, it's not going to be a very performant rule set. And probably what Yara Forge would tell you is, hey, you probably should make this a little, a bit more constrained from 0 to, infinity. Those are probably not good. Where was it here? This one here. These probably would come off as not very performant. Unless this one might be okay because it's going to say any value between 39 and 45. But again, depending on the size of the files, how many files you've got to scan, it will bog your system down fairly quickly. So at least that's my thinking logically here with this. So, okay, it's 5 o'clock here and elsewhere. I kind of want to keep doing the Yara thing. Maybe we'll talk about some of it this weekend with Miss Berlin, Mr. Betcher, because Miss Berlin, that's like her thing, right? It's pretty awesome. And I can always grab that book from Amazon as well, and we can go through it. Might be fun to invite the author on that Wading Through Logs had mentioned. You can get the Amazon link. Let me pull that link up again here for everybody. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. This one here, Thomas Rocha. Might see if he's available to come on and talk about some stuff. There's always more than one way to do CTI. So, and then you can create yara rules based on different frameworks. So one of the things I was doing, because my work has people that create these things, and it would kind of be good to be able to speak to those on a specific basis, or some of the work that I do works with detection teams, so being able to speak their language in some ways can only help, I think. So all right, so I will be back on Sunday with Mr. Betcher and Miss Berlin around 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you are interested in some well-mannered frivolity, we will do that. I'm trying to also have a little script I've got here, so please like and subscribe and ding the bell on YouTube if you want the VODs. Follow us here on Twitch if you'd like to as well, and tell your friends, because word of mouth is always good. So I don't know, anybody online that we can raid just for shites and giggles here? Strager? Strager's got a lot of people already. Hey, Freedom Dow's online. You go watch Freedom Dow. How are you chatting with me and talking? If you get the book, you should do digital. Yeah, I thought about that, Digital Warhead. I can definitely. I don't do dead tree versions of books anymore because I don't like waiting for books. So yeah, I would get the Kindle version if at all possible. That's available. All right, let's go raid Strager, because I don't think I've raided Strager in a while. So, all right, we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a good weekend. Go Colts. And Steelers aren't going to make it to the playoffs because they got to play the Ravens, but it is what it is. So, all right, love y'all. Have a good one. Later. Bye.